What is going on in Nevada with the Tesla semi-factory? There are some updates. They are not as earth-shaking and huge as we have seen in the past, but we've still got some exciting stuff to show. And I'm joined by my good buddy Mark from the Tesla Life, who joins me to discuss such things because he's been an eye in the sky like I have for these many years. Has a pretty good idea what's going on. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Mark, I don't know if you heard the big news. They spotted, from looking at Giga Nevada, at the Tesla, going out there to shoot the Tesla semi, the drone pilot found that there was, that they had a ram out there. And what could they possibly be doing out at the site?
They had a ram out there.
Yeah, yeah. Very weird, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you the video. Video looks like this. Yeah, yeah. Whole bunch of them. Can you believe that?
They're hanging out on the rocks.
Oh, you thought I meant a Dodge Ram. No, I meant a whole herd of bighorn sheep. Yeah. Well, they, are doing bighorn sheep things. By the way, have you ever seen one in real life?
I have not.
Okay. So I got to see mountain goats. At Glacier National Park. And I was like, ooh, goats, cool. And we're on the red bus tour, and we got to see one, and they are huge. They are ginormous. They are like small horse size. In my head, I'm thinking, goat's a goat. I only see pictures of them not next to things that would tell me what size they are.
Right.
And they're very big. Do not go near a mountain goat.
Yeah, because this photo doesn't really give you a scale of how big they are, because they're just beside rocks, and we got no idea how big those rocks are.
Well, they're rock sized, of course. Well, okay, fine. Let's instead talk about the actual topic. No more jokes, Mark.
Oh, we're done.
Oh, we believe that for a second. Zangler, and again, I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to give you a quick overview. You should go watch the video. He appreciates the love and support. But this is great because you can see inside. And you can't quite tell if those are finished floors or if it's not finished, it's covered. But I'm thinking that is a lot of concrete in there that we're seeing.
It looks that way, certainly.
It does. Unless all of these doors are covered with visqueen, which they could be. So, yeah, it does look like the doors are covered, doesn't it? Well, doesn't matter.
Interesting that
they
got
are
out
covered.
there.
Okay.
Got out there with the low light. It gives it a different view, a different look.
Sure does. We can see not a huge amount of progress since last week, but we can't see all the progress. But what we can see is they're still working. There are vehicles in there, even at these crazy hours. There was a spot where I saw some work going on inside. So what's going on there? Not much. He did put out another video that I am only going to show you. Oh, maybe it was in this one. He put out a time-lapse, which again, I will not be playing. But the idea is that this is what it looked like in July. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. September, nothing is up. This is September. October, November, December. And I guess we could throw in September, say 4 months from this to what we're looking at today.
That's a remarkable transformation in speed.
It's amazing.
But do keep in mind that this is typically, in most places, just a single-story building.
Mm-hmm. Right. So really all they're doing is closing off space. It's not meant to have heavy equipment on the higher floors,
right,
or anything like that. And as I mentioned in our previous video, the reason I'm not covering Giga Texas with the same vigor is because Joe Tegmeyer does such a thorough job of explaining what you see that it's completely unnecessary. It'd be overkill. From October 11th to now, 2 months. They put up all the rest of this, most of the walls, and started finishing the inside.
Yeah, like this is 3 sections. There's now 6 sections.
Yeah. It's bulky. It's a bulky boy. And yes, I see now that it is indeed plastic over the doors. So it would have been a neat shot, but it's still neat. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but it is almost Christmas. So I wanted to take a moment to ask Mark to share with me the very different Christmas traditions of Canada. So I went ahead and pulled this up, and Google gave me an AI overview, which I'm confident is correct, and all of these are going to be canon. Mark, are you going to be doing a lot of pantomiming?
No, not at all.
Oh, is it because you're not in Newfoundland?
I'm not in Newfoundland. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
No, it's not.
Okay, mummers disguise themselves as Jannies, own shooks, fools, bell snickers, and nellayooks.
Okay, what the
you
hell
do
is
that,
this?
right?
What is this?
You do that, I'm sure, right? La Guignolée. Door-to-door canvassers sing a tune that threatens to torture the oldest daughter of the house if donations aren't forthcoming.
Oh my gosh.
You do this in Canada, right?
This is slander, Brian. That's what this is.
When I saw this, I thought, oh, Mark has to answer for this. Not just for all of Canada, but for what Google imagines Canada to be.
Google is messed up.
Yeah. So in Quebec, it's traditional to make tourtière pie, a meat pie that's a combination of beef, pork, or veal, and a jig's dinner. You're definitely doing the jig's dinner, right?
Again, Newfoundland. Nope.
Okay. Well, I mean,
we have a traditional turkey. That's what we have here in southern Ontario.
Do you have Christmas markets?
Yes, there are Christmas markets.
Nice. I miss those. And major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal have the biggest Christmas celebrations. Oh, really? The largest cities have the largest
populations tend to have the biggest celebrations.
That's weird. And Canadians often wish each other happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas.
Yes, that can happen.
I mean, it can.
It's politically correct now to say happy holidays as opposed to just Merry Christmas. So
well,
people mix it up.
Yeah. I'm wishing you a happy new year as well. And then, of course, you get to articles which say crazy things like, it's celebrated the same as other countries. So that is, guys, in the comments, what's your Christmas tradition? Let me know. I am now curious. And if anyone has heard of any of these crazy things, because I'm going to count on Mark pantomiming for us. So
especially the mummers. I'd really like to see someone that gets involved with mummers.
I mean, it does have links and stuff, but I'm afraid to click on them. So you know what that means? You know what time it is? It's time to cover last week's questions. Yeah, we do that from time to time. I don't know if you guys can tell, but yeah, let's get into it. There are car-sized drones doing 6+ hour flights over New Jersey. Doesn't that mean flying car tech is here?
Yeah, it does. Too bad no one can figure out what auto manufacturer has made them.
The subreddit drones has the lone moderator there, has taken the entire subreddit down because he's sick and tired of the crazies. Posting pictures of what is clearly an aircraft, what is clearly a helicopter, what is clearly the star cluster Pleiades. Come on. And what I loved is a member of Congress actually said, the government knows what's going on, but won't tell us. Honey, you are the government. So I am not convinced you know who you're mad at. I don't know how the rest of us could possibly know.
Grandstanding.
Yes. Play into the cheap seats. At 4:50 in the video, Farmer Pete, regular, says, you've got the pit. So where's the pendulum, Mr. Poe? Yeah, so this is, we're making a, telltale heart joke. I don't know where the pit is, but when I find it. And by the way, the other day I was opening, you know how there's like, I think it's kind of like a Kinder egg, but it was an avocado. And again, I got the wooden ball. Every time, the wooden ball. Guys, mix it up. I want something more fun than that. What's stopping the Boring Company from making boring tunnels a little larger to accommodate more things like shipping containers? Just build Proof Rock bigger or wider.
It's certainly something that I'm sure they're looking at, but they have to have a reason to do it. Are they really going to push through shipping containers? Is that something that they're after? Is that part of the business model? It's not currently, and the goal is to move faster. So if you make the tunnels a little bit smaller that can fit the vehicles you're trying to fit through it, you're fine. So why would you go bigger if there's no business case to go bigger?
Sometimes when ordering a pizza, you think, well, the next size up is only 2 inches bigger. If you took geometry, you might know that 2 more inches in diameter adds a whole lot of surface area to your pizza. I was at a little pizza place once inside of a supermarket, and I said, how big is the medium versus the large? And she said, oh, with confidence, the medium is 8 slices and the large is 10. That's true. It's true. It's not the information I was going for. My answer to this is they can, but they haven't gotten anyone interested yet on their website. I don't know if it's still there. It was before, probably still is. It was a whole page showing we can make them shipping container sized if that's what you need. And I think this was something that they'd put out there when they were still hungry for projects. And as of right now, they have more projects than they could ever handle. And they're still looking to sign some more, which is crazy. Which is just crazy. So there's your answer to that. Let's see. If you have 8 Tesla semis connected as they travel across the country, that would be train-like. That's my contribution. So yeah, once they go full across, they can caravan. Tesla Caravan semis. Why not?
Yeah, that's all part of the future plans of FSD for the semi.
Yeah. Report on all EV semi trucks in the USA would be nice if you can. I think, by the way, Risen Liz here put that question mark so I would see it. I will add that to my list. I don't know if I'll do it, but I'll add it to my list. I don't know if the interest is wide enough, but I will consider that. There's a lot. All right. Semi factory will be covered in solar panels. Yeah, I think so.
Eventually.
What do you think?
Eventually.
Yeah. Oh, this one I skipped over. Where the frunk is drone footage of the 300 factories in Blue Oval City that Ford has completed? Do you know the answer to that question?
I absolutely do. There is no footage. None.
Why?
Because no one cares.
So you're almost exactly right. Someone went out and shot it, and hundreds, maybe even thousands of people like, wow, that's neat. Thanks for posting it. So they went out and shot it again, and like 8 people watched it. And that was the end of that. Because the passion just isn't there. This is a trickier question. Time frame. When was Giga Texas at this phase of construction of the semi plant? How many months after digging the pit for the stamping machines did vehicles roll off the line at Giga Texas?
This question is right up your alley, Brian.
It is, but the answer is impossible because the products are completely different. Giga Texas, again, multi-floor. So for Giga Texas, from the time the stamping pit was dug to the time first production, like a year, because they had to finish the entire factory around it. This is months from production, not a year or years. It's a much simpler product that will be made in substantially lower volume. The nameplate capacity for this factory will be a fraction of what it is in Texas. This will go up a whole lot quicker. So while I appreciate the question, it's unfortunately not clear cut because they're so different. Do you think 48 volt architecture is the same as the Cybertruck so parts can be interchanged? Oh, well,
Same as what?
If they mean the semi, I don't know which parts they would have in common. And if they mean, because the only other vehicle that I'm aware of that they're planning to make in 48 volt is the Cybercab. And I think the Cybercab will have almost no parts in common with the Cybertruck. So I don't.
But it is interesting based on what you got to talk to the engineers at the Cybercab event. What did they tell you about Tesla and 48 volt?
They said Tesla is all in on 48 volt. Because we asked, is this going to be 48 volt? And that was the only answer they would give. So that was something they knew to be prepared for. Mm-hmm. they didn't know to be prepared for was the rest of my bullshit. You see, the engineers did not know who I was, but I'm confident they do now. Yeah. Have you checked out Edison Motors? Any thoughts about them possibly working with Tesla? You familiar with Edison Motors?
I am, as a name only, I'm really not familiar with what they do.
You are bringing great shame to your nation. It is a Vancouver, BC based logging truck company, and they build these fantastic range extended EV logging trucks. And because a lot of what they do is go up into the mountains, load up and haul the trees down the hill, they regenerate often as much as it takes to get back up. Well, then they should just be EVs. Right, except sometimes they don't. And sometimes they need to go on the highway to get to the hill. No, the range extender is the right solution for that use case. They do fantastic work. I've met Chase and the other guys there. I did an interview with them about a little over a year ago. So yes, I am familiar with the people and the company, and I was going to interview them again this year, but they were just swamped. And I figured, all right, well, I covered them last year. Big snowfall on flat roof. How will they cope with that? Could be a lot of weight up there.
How much snow falls in that area of the country? Some snow falls, but how much?
2.8 inches per month in the winter, in the wintriest months. So none. It's a desert. Yeah. So if you look, all the other buildings also have flat roofs, including the other building that Tesla owns on either side of it. So it'll be fine. It's very dry. This is a consideration that's already been considered. Are other companies buying these largest stamping machines too? Yes. I mean, I assume so all the time. I assume there is a factory that makes stamping machines, just like there's a factory that makes the Giga presses. So yes.
When Tesla came out with their first injection molding stamping machine, the Idra, Idra got a huge push in business, an absolute huge push, because all the other manufacturers all woke up at the same time and said, what is Tesla doing? We should be doing that. Someone get on that. And they did. So now Idra has lots of orders.
Too many. They have too many. There are companies in China that are also manufacturing similarly ginormous presses. And Sandy Munro had been pushing for this for years. He had a client who brought in a whole body single casting. And I assume they just sand casted that for proof of concept. But it was, it just kind of worked. But nobody would do it because it's never been done. And of course, if something hasn't been done yet, you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, quit. I think we'll just do one more here because we've gone on quite long enough. I've had enough of you, Mr. Coughlin. Railroads, perhaps Tesla should make an electric railroad locomotive with regenerative braking. Might reduce the grade issue. Maybe they could use Giga Mexico to build locomotives for Mexico's mountainous railroads.
Okay.
So I've run the math. I've run the math on how many train cars of batteries you would need, and the answer is way too many. Way too many. Figure a mega pack is about the size of one train car. That's only got, 2 gigawatt hours of power in it? That's not much when you compare it to the amount of energy required to move a train. So even though you would get some regen on the way back down, it's too much. The amount of power is not yet dense enough for a locomotive. Your thoughts?
It's interesting that trains currently are run on electric motors.
Diesel electric, yep.
So they've got diesel generators that spool up the electric motors, feed them power, and that is how they operate and have operated for decades. Mm-hmm. The problem of filling up cars of batteries and then having to pull those cars of batteries along with you, either empty or full, is a problem. Although Tesla did kind of do that with the Semi, didn't they?
Yes.
There was a question of you have to load the Semi up with extra batteries and it would never, according to Bill Gates, it would never work. So there is some question about it, but I think you've got to get you've got to, it's got to be a few more changes in the battery structure in order to get maybe less weight. Maybe that's possible in the future, but you're right, not now.
Yeah, we will wait and see. When has Bill Gates ever been wrong? By the way, for those who don't know, Bill Gates has famously been shorting Tesla for years, which is great because he's one of the few people alive who can afford to. So we appreciate your donations to those who are long. Yeah, there's tricks with locomotives like that. I volunteered at the Northwest Railroad Museum years ago, and I got a chance to hang out with and chat with retired engineers. And when I say engineers, I mean engineers, the ones who drive the engine. And I asked, why are they electric at all? Why not just use the diesel power directly, skip a step? And the answer was, with a diesel electric setup, you have essentially infinite gears. Do you know how many gears you would need on a diesel locomotive?
Yeah.
More than one.
The weight that they're pulling. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said you just adjust the amperage and the voltage, and I assume that's all done automatically. And of course, as you know, electric motors, instant torque, full torque, the whole range. Guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it into them comments below. And everybody else, like, subscribe, stay tuned to Juicy. You know what you're doing. Head over to the Tesla Life Show. See what Mark and Casey and Patrick are up to. I'm sure they're up to no good because it's just before Christmas. And they've got this theory they're testing that Santa doesn't bring toys based on being good or bad, but mostly based on how rich your parents are. So we'll see how that tests out. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots after these crazy holidays are done.